Yo guys, today I thought I'd make a video about the small misconceptions that I had when I started learning Wuthering Waves. Let me preface this before getting into the video. This is only my advice about things I experienced when starting Wuthering Waves. My advice isn't final, and is just one additional puzzle piece, not the entire picture. My aim is only to inform about the things that I've learned and share them to all of you. Let me know if you enjoyed the video, because I can likely do more in the future. Below you can find the timeline to skip to a character as you see fit. Anyways, enjoy the video. So the first person I want to talk about is Baizhi. You get Baizhi at the beginning of the game, and she's a little bit confusing, she's a little bit odd in comparison to a lot of the other characters. They're a little bit more simple, honestly, to understand than her. And it can feel like it takes a lot of time to get her on and off the floor. It takes a lot of time to actually get her skill to activate someone else's intro skill. So I'm just going to go over something which helped me a lot, which will probably help you too, because she is a really fun character to play, and also she looks amazing. So for the main party, I'm just going to take Verova, Xingyan, and Baizhi. Before we get into it, we need to understand how we know if we're about to switch in and how we're not. So at the bottom there is a gauge down here. This fills up over time after doing basic things like attacking, using abilities and such, and once it's built, you can then use an intro skill. So Baizhi is a healer, so your aim is essentially to get her in. Using basic attacks, you get this gauge, if you can see it down here. This gauge goes up to 4. Every basic attack you hit gives 1 gauge. So the basic idea is to get full gauge by hitting basic attacks, and then pressing E. Once you've done that, hit 4 more basic attacks, and then hold down your left click. And then there's a little trick to this, because when you hold down your left click, you can also press shift instantly, and it will consume your stacks. But instead of sitting there and trying to hit people with the tornado attack, you can actually just dodge out of it, and it will still give you a decent chunk of your gauge. For instance, if I do it now, see I got a bit of gauge from that. And then I can go back to left clicking. So the basic concept is, get her in, get 4 stacks, press E. Get her up to 4 stacks again, and then hold down left click, dodge if you don't want to keep holding it, and then continue basic attacking. Sometimes your gauge will be full enough that just by holding it you can switch in, but it's a bit hit and miss. So I'll just show you how I do it in combat. So we start off by getting to 4 stacks, so we're just going to hit them. Then we've got 4 stacks, so I will press E. Getting 4 stacks again. Then I'm going to hold and dodge, and then I have my switch in. So then I can switch in. And of course we're going to do the same thing for all of them. I'm just going to play normally. I'm going to get up to the stack so I can switch her in, just to show you how it looks like. Then she comes in again. You get 4 stacks, basic attacking. Then you press E, and then I'm going to press R because it's up. Then basic attack again. And then hold, and then let go, and then switch in. It may be fairly simple, but for me, I didn't understand how Baizhi worked before I understood this, so I think if you are able to understand that, you're going to have a lot more fun on the character, and you will need a healer for one of the 4 stars that you will probably get. So, I hope that it helps you. The next character I'm going to be talking about is Sanhua. You will get this character about 3 days into playing the game, and she has a unique gauge, so when you're playing her, it is a little bit weird to understand it, so I'll just go over it so you understand how she works. So we're just going to add Sanhua into the team, and we're going to go in. So before we get into anything complex, we need to understand the gauge, because it's very unique in comparison to a lot of other characters. Like, this is the most unique gauge I think I've seen in the game so far. So if you hold down left click, you'll watch this bar, and it will start moving up and down, and also the character flashes. So once it gets to that gauge, you let go, and you perform that attack. If you miss, it does this. Which does still look really cool, but, you know, it is nowhere near as powerful. So the aim is, essentially, your E and your R will allow you to get ice on the field, like this. Well, when you have ice on the field, you want to hold down the left click and get a charge stack off, because it will actually make the ice burst and do a lot more damage, so it'll look like this. So essentially, if your R is up, press R, then press E, and then hold down left click, and then you time it right, so you make everything explode. That is exactly how she works. There are little things that you can do extra, but as I said, I'm not gonna, tell you everything, you can explore that yourself. But the main mechanic is this, so you'll start the challenge here. Going to hit this, hold down, it breaks, go to R, break it again. Then you can wait for your abilities to come up. You would obviously switch in, but I'm trying to demonstrate her, so break it again. And that is basically the combat loop for her. You can just do it normally, but it won't do as much damage obviously without the ice, but it works. You can do like a 1-2 combo, like this. And yeah, that's basically how Sanhua works. She's a little bit weird to learn, but once you've got her, she's actually one of the most fun characters. I'll go as far as to say she feels like a hidden 5-star with how she plays. Like, maybe not damage-wise, but how she looks and how she plays is very, very, very fun. So I recommend learning her. And lastly in this video, I am going to cover Danjin. So Danjin is unique in her basic attacks, because she only has 3. She's the only character so far I've seen who's had 3 basic attacks, but her E is extremely unique and you need to understand it, so let's get into it. For this one I'm going to take Baizhi, because Baizhi is really good with, obviously, Danjin, because she takes health. She's like Hu Tao, so you want a healer really with her, or a shielder, both is preferable, but you could get away with either one really. Right, so Danjin. So when she basic attacks, obviously she does 3 attacks, she does that. So think of it this way. If you do press E normally, she'll just do 1 attack. If you spam E, nothing will happen. If you do 1 attack and then press E, she does 1 attack again. If you do 2 attacks and then press E twice, this will happen. Okay? So when you click 3 times, this happens. So essentially your aim is to get to 3 basic attacks and then press E 3 times. Now, of course, try and dodge if you can, but it's not, necessary. If you get to 3, it's the most damage you can output in your E combos. So that's your aim. And then when you have full gauge like this, you can hold down left click to consume the stacks and give yourself some health back and do a lot more damage. Also feel like it's important to note with this character, when she comes in, so when you use an intro skill, you can press E twice and she will do 2 of her E's in a row. It's like coming in and pressing auto attack twice and then pressing E after that. Also her ult, make sure to click afterwards because there's a big attack afterwards, so just make sure to click as well. If everything goes right, it should look something like this. So we attack using E, because we got 3 stacks. Then we do it again. As you can see, I've got gauge, so I use it at half. Then we do it again. Keep fighting, and then press R to do our damage. Make sure to click afterwards. I'm going to consume a bit more so I can heal, like so. This is why it's good to have a healer, really, with this character, because she takes a lot of health, so if you get hit, you could just die, like that. So obviously using Baizhi, we can heal her up like this. She also has a shield on my character, so, you can put a shield down, heal her up. Then I can press E afterwards, like that. To get rid of this annoying gunner. There we go. Just gonna get some healing off. This is why it's important to have a healer with Danjin, because she takes a lot of damage. Because she eats her own health, so. But she is a very fun character. She's just a very unique character, because there's nothing really like her in the game so far. She is the only one of her, like, caliber. She only does this. So always try to make sure you have a healer or at least a shielder, because she can heal herself, but it's a bit hit and miss, so be careful with it.